Majo, John, Ned, and Juanito in the doorway of my tiny house in Acapulco, Mexico. I'm at the northern edge of the Acapulco Pueblo. This part of the Pueblo was carved out of jungle 8 years ago. And I've got 3 dogs in my house. Gee, a week ago, none of these dogs would touch me. These dogs were all afraid of humans. Has been petted by anybody but me in their lifetimes, probably. But all 3 dogs in here, and they keep moving around, so I don't know who's laying. I think that's probably Yeller sleeping there. This is Spot sleeping here, and Negro is sleeping back over there. So a week ago, none of these dogs would let me touch them. Now, all 3 of these dogs, who I'm calling the official members of Juanito's Doggy Clubhouse and Cantina, they've all taken part-time occupancy. They're not allowed to stay here at night. It's a funny girls' dorm that way. But I want my privacy at night, and I'm sick right now, and I need to sleep. So when they go running down, they all live on this street, and they all stay other places on the street, and I think probably each of them is being fed by somebody else. They may even have different names at other houses, but over here I've given them my name. They're a name. And I've christened my house, which was my sanctuary a week ago. It was my place that I would be alone, except when my landlord Marcos or one of his workers would visit, because this little casita was just built in the last year by my dear landlord Marcos, and really my best friend in Acamal. He was a Mayan man. He's enormous. What a giant of a man. But a week ago, I never had a visitor in here. And now it's turned into the bitch's dorm, which is pretty ironic. But I'm celebrating 3 anniversaries today on January 6th. In 2021, I had left Asheville, North Carolina when the COVID hit in March of 2020. In January 6th of 2021, I had rented a walk-in basement apartment up in the mountains in Spruce Pine, which also got devastated by the September 28th storms that rushed through. Hurricane Helene should not have sent torrential, history-making floods high into the Blue Ridge Mountains. That's crazy, but it's what happened. So Asheville, North Carolina was devastated. Spruce Pine, where I was on January 6th of 2021, also got devastated because there's a huge river, the Tow River, went through there. So I have memories of that. And I watched January 6th unfold. I watched everything. And I was constantly sending messages to friends saying, watch this, you got to see this. This is crazy what's going on in Washington today. So that was 2021. 2022 on January 6th, so I guess would have been 2023 on January 6th. I arrived in New Orleans on September 23 of 21. January 6th was the kickoff of the Mardi Gras season in New Orleans, which I came to adore. And why do I bring such bad luck to places? Spruce Pine devastated by storms, New Orleans devastated by mass murder on New Year's Eve. I'm sorry. I'm glad. I hope I'm not. No, couldn't be me. Let's not personalize it. But that's where I was. January 6th, we were celebrating the kickoff of the Mardi Gras season on St. Joan of Arc feast day, and I was there for the whole 6 weeks of the Mardi Gras season. But last year, January 6th of 2024, I was in Veracruz, Puerto Veracruz or Heroica Veracruz, fabulous commercial port and one of my most beloved cities in Mexico, right at the base. It's right where the Yucatan Peninsula starts to jut out into the Gulf of Mexico, and finally at the tip, the Caribbean Sea, where I am now. January 6th, and what brought this up is I heard the sounds of kids playing down the way, and I went, that's right, still on holidays. The kids are still not back in school because I was reveling in all the vacationers in Veracruz Americans don't come to Veracruz. International tourists don't go to Veracruz. It's a commercial port, not a cruise ship port. But what a fabulous town, Veracruz. And lots of places claim that Veracruz is dangerous, but the people who know Veracruz all love Veracruz. And one of the real highlights of Veracruz was my dear friend Jose Iniguez, who I was on the phone with last night, who lives in Asheville, North Carolina, was an old workmate of mine when I worked as a cashier at Earth Fare, which is a Whole Foods style grocery store. Jose was a butcher there, and we became good friends and stayed friends, and we have stayed in touch. But he was born in Veracruz, grew up in Veracruz. So a year ago, when I was doing YouTube videos from Veracruz, Jose would say, "This is the house where I was born. Now go down the street. Let's see where my buddy used to live." And Jose knew the story behind the murals on the walls. It was spectacular. Now Jose has survived the incredible storms in Asheville. He had to move his RV to higher ground, but he did survive. He lost a lot of stuff from the move. But he's doing okay, and I was on the phone with him for a long time last night, which was great. So it's really great that those two anniversaries of Veracruz last year and New Orleans 2 years before eclipse for me the horrors that went on in Washington. And the notion that the Republicans are trying to whitewash that thing that we all watched, how many of us watched it? We saw what went on there. And Trump is calling it a day of peace and love. Come on, we saw it, Jack. How stupid do you think we are? Well, I guess people have drank the Kool-Aid in the U.S. because people are buying it. How could he's saying that what's black is white, what's up is down, and getting away with it? Isn't that crazy? But I'm glad that that's not my primary memory for January 6th anymore. Okay, bye. Now, January 6th is a week after these dogs would not let me touch them. My house has turned into the bitch's dorm. And that is not a sexist term. That is just technically correct because these are girl dogs and I'm keeping the boy dogs out of the bitch's dorm. All right, bye.